Good morning, guys. Welcome. Welcome, guys. New trading session, new week. It is Monday, so I hope you really had a good weekend. Let me just put the volume down here. There we go. Guess it's better now. Yeah. I hope you had a nice weekend. I hope this week will be good as well for you guys. And let's get straight to the charts since it's 9:29 New York local time. So the opening bell is right there. So yeah, just let's take a look at ES and let's see what ES is really doing here. We have a projection here of this manipulation leg to the downside, which stands for -4 standard deviation here. So as you can see here, -4 standard deviation. This leg to the upside is it might be at a pit stop stage, so we can eventually search for a move lower into this end wall down here, but it's kind of tricky to say because we are at all-time highs once again, as you can see here. So we are just trading below it. NQ is trying to reach for this -4 standard deviation, and yeah, we can continue to the upside like prices has been doing lately. So it's kind of hard to decipher if we will stop or not, since this move to the upside has been clearly the strongest move that we have lately. So yeah, if I really took the standard deviation projection here, we can see that price reached -2.5. This is a larger projection here from the last down leg of the London session into the New York, the new opening, the new week opening gap. And as you can see, price just hit -2.5 standard deviation. So we might have some more upside to go, since we still have to reach -4, and -4 has some confluence with a big figure, which is 7,000. So it's kind of tricky. Also, we have FOMC this week, so we can expect a harder price action in between Monday to Tuesday. FOMC will be this Wednesday. So yeah, let's zoom in a bit here into lower time frames just to see what we can expect from price action. So heading to the 1 minute and marking already the 9:30 open, which is somewhere around here. There we go. This is the 9:30 open. So the opens are kind of close to each other, which can make us anticipate that price can eventually be hard to trade here. We have some relative equal highs here on ES from the London session here on the upside. Just let me take a look at NQ, what NQ is doing. Yeah, we kind of took out the London highs here on NQ already. Let me just put this at the 15-minute here. Yeah, on NQ we already took them out. So this right now is some sort of an SMT in between ES and NQ. We still have the new week opening gap still open here. This is a big gap here that you can see. So we never went for 25% the first quadrant, so we kind of rejected the first quadrant as well. If the bullish narrative and the all-time high narratives still plays out, we will probably leave this behind as well. So we can leave this and tapped and price continue higher. But honestly, what I'm looking here is some kind of a drive lower, just to see the new week opening gap just being filled a little bit, probably 25%, because we would take out Asia lows, London lows as well. So that would make a little bit more sense for a continuation higher after taking out these lows here. But for that to happen, I need to see a displacement lower, eventually taking out 9:30 open, 8:30 open, trading below midnight open as well. So let's just see. So far we have these we kind of left these pre-market highs and tapped here, but price is now trying to head lower, reaching for London lows. NQ doing the same here. Let me just take a look at the regular trading hour. So we have a big gap here on the regular trading hour session. Just let me mark the quadrants of it. So opening range gap quarters. So just to see how far we can go in terms of retracement to the downside here. Okay. Now we have a better perspective about what price probably wants to do. So this is the first presented fair value gap. I hope that it's not yet the first presented fair value gap. We need this candle to close. So we'll wait a bit more. Yeah, good morning, Pablo. How you doing, buddy? Hope you had a nice weekend. Yeah, I'm expecting a drive lower as well. Probably not a full closure of the gap, but at least, I don't know, at least tapping for the midpoint, or at least tapping for or hoping for the first quadrant here. But let's see. So first presented fair value gap is formed already. Same on NQ. I will mark the 950 open. 950 open. 950 open, I mean the 950 macro. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Pablo, but I guess I would like to see, for a drive lower, I would like to see on ES some kind of a purge of buy side liquidity. And with that, I mean, it would be nice to see a London highs to be purged, eventually these relative equal highs. If we are able to do something like this, that would be nice. So the reversal would happen inside the macro after taking a purge of London highs. That would be probably a game plan that I would take because right now I know that NQ already took out buy side liquidity, but I would like to see ES doing the same. Otherwise, it can be a tricky short if something really if we have the opportunity to short it. So let me just take a look at the regular trading hours once again. Let's see if we can at least go for this buy side liquidity here. For now, we'll take this SMT out because I don't think it makes sense right now. I need to see price coming a little bit higher. So far price is pushing to the upside, so seems to me like it wants to take out London highs. But so far there's nothing we can play with here on, or at least on ES. Even for a long perspective here, ES didn't take out London lows. So we just took out this pre-session lows, which for me is minor liquidity. I need to see a bigger liquidity point being taken out. So displacing once again to the downside here. So nice displacement down here. Let me just take a look at NQ on the regular trading hours just to see if some measure of buy side liquidity has been taken here. But yeah, we still have this high here to be taken on NQ as well. This is really a massive gap. But keep in mind that in all-time highs, at all-time highs, whenever we have a large gap like this, it can happen that price will not even touch it and will keep grind higher to the upside. So this is one of those things that ICT said a little while ago on bullish markets, especially on all-time high markets. Whenever we open higher with a large gap to the downside, it can happen that price will ignore that gap and will continue higher. I'm not sure if this is the case, but it really can happen. So far, price respecting the first presented fair value gap. But tricky action here at the open. At this point, I will probably wait for 950. We have 5 minutes more, six minutes more. So no rush to get into something here. Yeah, the time just switched to +1, so it's daylight savings, I guess. But it will change in New York in a couple of weeks as well. So everything will be the same in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure about when. I will have to check it out. But right now it's 1:45 here in Portugal. I believe it's 2:45 in Madrid, right, Pablo? Usually I tend to be here at the open, so I tend to be here at 2:30 in the afternoon. But these next couple of weeks we will be here at 1:30 Portugal, Lisbon local time. Yes, 2:45. Yes. Yes, Madrid has 1 hour. It has a 1 hour time difference from Portugal, from Lisbon. So price kind of having a hard time to get above 9:30 open here. Things are quite ugly on NQ as well. Let me take a look at YM just to see. Yeah, YM definitely the weakest sister here. It kind of went down for about, let me just check here because this might be important. So this is the open. This is the close. Yeah, we almost reached 50% of the new week opening gap here on YM. So definitely the weakest one. And let me check the opening range gap here. Yeah, we missed the midpoint of it as well. So let's see if ES wants to come a little bit higher, taking out these highs here. So this stands for the regular trading hour session buy side liquidity. It would be acceptable for price to do something like this and leave London highs behind. But still still an ugly opening here. So this is just a barcode session for me. Nothing that we can work with. Still have to wait until at least until 950 just to see if there's any intention on price, because right now I can't see any intention on price. Yeah, Pablo is saying that they usually have the same time as Germany. Yeah, I think that's one thing that we kept from the war, the War, the Second World War. Um, but I don't think it makes any sense right now, because it's kind of sad to see nighttime starting at, I don't know, 5 p.m., 4 p.m. When in the summer you have days that will end at 10 p.m. in the night. So it's a huge difference, and it kind of messes my biological system, honestly. So once again, price not being able to close above 930 open. Let's see if we will have some sort of displacement to the downside now, or some follow through. But we kind of left buy side liquidity is still untapped here. So yeah, this is so far an ugly price action, and I really would not like to see price coming down without taking these highs. But if we left these highs open, yeah, they can eventually be used later for a continuation higher. Yeah, we have the same time as London, as the UK, and you guys have the same time as almost every country in the Central Europe. Uh, it's kind of hard to explain, because we are, I don't know, 400 kilometers away. I guess it's not that far away, but those are the things that we have to accept. Honestly, I guess every year there are some guys talking about there's not a need to change the time for daylight savings, but nothing has been done so far. So I guess we will keep changing it and switching time frames. I mean, but yeah, in the end, it causes a lot of it causes a big difference in between the summertime and the winter time. As I was saying, in the winter, we have days that will probably end at 4:30 p.m. Or 4 p.m. It's almost nighttime at 4 p.m. And in the summer, you have days where it's 10 p.m. And the sun is still out. So there's a huge difference in between those seasons. So let's see if we will make a run here towards London highs. I was expecting to see London highs and eventually regular trading hour session buy side liquidity to be taken out as well. Let's put a little bit more water. I have to keep myself hydrated because I'm always talking. So we are inside of the macro. We kind of respected the first presented fair value gap. So far, people who longed the first presented fair value gap and put their stop below midnight open, they are making money. So everybody who tried to go long here, this should be the logical stop placement here. Aiming for London highs, that would be a 1 to 1.5, 1.7 risk to reward ratio. So not that good as a risk to reward ratio here. But if you aim for all-time highs as buy side liquidity, this could be a nice trade. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a purge of buy side liquidity followed by displacement lower. So if that happens, I will probably take it. If not, then we will see what type of opportunities do we have. But yeah, the first 30 minutes of the open, they are kind of ugly. Price is now respecting this bullish fair value gap. Or at least trying to. So what about you guys? Are you positioned in anything already? Are you just waiting for something? What are your views on today's price action? What are you expecting? Pablo already said that he would like to see a drive lower. What about you guys? What are your perspective on price action? So buy side liquidity here on AS has been taken. Let me see if we will have a drive a little bit higher towards these highs. So these relative equal highs here. Still a little bit more to go. And it can happen that price will leave everything that's below here untapped as well and just keep grinding higher. That's not my main plan, but we have to accept that it can happen. Still creeping up to the upside here. NQ doing the same. Let me just check YM. If YM just went stronger now. So if the weakest one just give us a change in the state of delivery, then we might not turn back. But I will still wait. Not that convinced, honestly. But oh well. What an early price action this morning. So NQ already took out that buy side liquidity, the 932 high. Let's see if ES can do the same here, taking out these relative equal highs as London highs, and then eventually give us some sort of a lower displacement. Otherwise, it is probable that price will just keep grinding higher towards new all-time highs. There we go. So the first low-hanging fruit that we were expecting is taken here. So now I would like to see a change in the state of delivery. I would like to see price doing something else and not keep grinding higher. So far, the first read has been on point. So before any drive lower. I said that I would like to see London highs being taken. Let's see if price wants to give it a little extra and go for all-time highs here. So we'll mark this bullish fair value gap here just to see if it fails or if it gets respected somehow. Let me take a look at YM just to see if it really changed. It seems like well, as the weaker asset, I don't want to see this happening, honestly, for a bearish perspective or a bearish narrative. But yeah, we kind of were expecting a push higher, and the probabilities of keeping pushing higher, of keeping this bullish direction, they were kind of there. So because if you look into NQ kind of tapped a 15-minute fair value gap and kind of respected a 15-minute bullish order block as well. So the drive higher can really continue despite that we have relative equal lows here. We have London lows and tapped, Asia lows and tapped. But we had the same kind of price action on the CPI day. As you can see, all this liquidity was left behind here. So London lows, Asia lows. Even this Asia low here was left behind. So it can happen that we will eventually keep grinding higher. Let's see. But so far, nothing that really entices me to go on a trade here. So far, the macro was kind of bullish here. So if you look into the macro time frame, it just pushed price to the upside. Let me go to the regular trading hours session. Price went back for the bullish fair value gap here. So far respecting it. NQ displacing a little bit lower. Would be interesting to see price losing a little bit of steam here, because right now we kind of cleaned buy side liquidity. So I would like to see this one be inverted and a move lower. So far, no inversion of this bullish PD array here. And this one right here is kind of small, but we still have it. There's actually no breaker in here, so let's see. Nice move to the downside here. Let me check the higher time frames here. Yeah, NQ is pushing a little bit higher, so we might go for another run. Let's see. I really don't like how these highs are being presented as well. So I will wait a bit more. This to me seems to be too clean. So we might go for another run and then displace lower. So we'll wait a bit more. No rush. Let me just check what YM is doing. So YM was the weaker one. Okay. So for now, there's no reversal here. Inversion, I mean. This is still a bullish fair value gap, but let's see. People BC don't think the 5-minute fair value gap gets inverted. Ideally, one more drive up before shorting for me. Yeah, probably. That's why I decide to wait a bit more. But so far, the bearishness here is being respected. So if we close here, we will invert this one as well. But I'm not liking how NQ is behaving. It seems like it's ready to go for another run to the upside. But so far, price is respecting the inversion here. So we are closing below the midpoint. There we go. And I hesitated a bit here. Was looking for another drive higher because I didn't like these highs. But so far, price is doing what I expected since the beginning. We have a volume imbalance here that is still open. Nice drive lower. So what about you guys? Are you already shorting it? Are you waiting for some sort of a retrace higher now? Did you short around here? Are you longing this? What are you doing? So far we are losing 9:30 open, 8:30 open as well. Entering inside of the opening range gap as well. Let's see if we will have some sort of reaction inside the first presented fair value gap here. Let me mark 9:30 open, 8:30 open as well. Midnight open. We'll push this one to the upside once again. I would like to see a push a little bit higher here, just to around this area. Let me just see how far away. Yeah, that would ruin my risk to reward, honestly. Because right now we are facing 9:30 open and 8:30 open, so this can eventually act as a resistance to price, and price will can eventually not be able to make the retrace that we want to see, and go straight from here to London lows. But I would rather wait for eventually a retrace a little bit higher here than to take a position somewhere around here. Let me take a look at YM. Yeah, it faded your short setup. I can see what you're saying. Well, for me, it's still valid if we go for a little retrace here, but at the same time, it's kind of dangerous because we are respecting the first presented fair value gap. We would eventually respect the opens as well. But in theory, I would like to see something like this. And keep trying to push a little bit higher towards the order block. We are doing a similar thing here, just trying to invert this bullish fair value gap, not closing above the midpoint of it. It kind of has some confluence with the opens as well. So we are not closing above the opens. I'm still waiting here. I will rather wait. Push higher. Let's see if this push higher is still a retrace or if we will head to the upside, since we are respecting the first presented fair value gap. I'm glad I did not open any short down there. Otherwise, I would be praying right now. So if you continue higher, it would invalidate our bearish narrative for London lows and eventually Asia lows as well. NQ is playing the order block right now. ES equilibrium of this down leg. So I have no limit order. As you can see, this is just the schematics. No trade yet. Let me take a look at YM. If YM is gathering some strength, then we are probably wrong with the bearish narrative. But not so much. But we are still playing above this fair value gap here on YM. Mm. Yeah, so far respecting equilibrium. But I just don't like how NQ is trying to push higher. Let's see if we will form some sort of a BPR here. Otherwise, price will eventually keep grinding higher. If we can close below this this fair value gap here, then that would be nice to see. Otherwise, yeah. NQ is still pushing. So ES will probably follow. There we go. It really went for these highs here. So right now, the bearish narrative is not in place. What about you guys? Did you guys took any shorts around here? Because I was waiting for them, but honestly, I didn't. The first thing that kind of was a red flag here for me was these types of highs. There was no breaker as well, so this doesn't classify as a breaker for me. Um, and yeah, as soon as we started to do this type of price action behavior at the first presented fair value gap, yeah, my bearish narrative kind of lost some momentum. Um, now we are back inside the range here for ES, so I'm not sure. NQ is still pushing. Let me just take another look at YM, what a YM is doing. YM inside the range as well, but trying to push higher as well. So yeah, ES will most probably follow. But yeah, even taking a long here with all this sell side liquidity below, I don't feel that comfortable doing it. Yeah, price heading to the upside. So fading all-time highs is it's kind of hard. I would classify this price action as hard overall. The first leg was, yeah, we managed to kind of predict the first movement, and then expecting a move lower as soon as we take out London lows. But we kind of missed the opportunity here because was I was not that convinced because of these lows, and there was no breaker, so it kind of threw me off. And yeah, honestly, right now, price is touching the breaker. So in the not the breaker, but the order block. So in theory, this order block should hold, and we will probably head towards all-time highs here, which is the next liquidity point on ES. But yeah, I feel like I'm not missing anything because if you look into the 15-minute time frame, especially on ES, you can see that price action is very messy. It's wicking to the upside, wicking to the downside, so there's no clear direction on the price. Um, so it to me says that I'm not missing anything, honestly. Even on NQ, it's kind of hard to frame anything because wicking to the upside, wicking to the downside, it's kind of hard to play on these low time frames when price is wicking like that on the high time frames. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know if you feel the same difficulties or not, but that to me it's kind of hard to play. people, yeah, I feel the same. NQ is the leader, and it's just pushing ES along with it. So this type of price action it kind of turns me down or turns me off. I mean, it's hard to engage with anything like this because yeah, lately price has been doing things like that. If we go to last Friday's price action, yeah, it seems like yes is pushed. It's just someone is dragging ES to the upside. So there's no clear momentum, and it's kind of hard to interact with something like that because it will take a lot of time on price to deliver, and a lot of mental capital will be uh, wasted in moves like that. But yeah, it seems like we will head to the upside if so far the order block is being respected, as you can see here. But this to me is not my type of play. This is just a schematics, and it will probably work. We went for almost 50% of the order block here, as you can see. NQ is still pushing to the upside, just creeping up. And it will probably drag ES with it. And if we take a look at YM, probably YM is still reacting in a bullish way, but not. Nah, not yet. Not yet. So yeah, YM is more in a like a seek and destroy pattern. It took the highs here. It took the lows. It will probably head for the lows once again. Hard session so far. Well, but at least we are just reading price, and yeah, I kind of feel like I lost the opportunity here because as soon as I saw that price was struggling to close above the midpoint, I should have taken a trade and aim at least for the first presented fair value gap. But I don't know. These highs to me, they kind of felt suspicious. So that's why I did not took anything. And I was expecting some sort of a breaker, which this to me is not a breaker as well. Anyhow, price will probably use 1050 macro to complete the move to the upside towards buy side liquidity as all-time highs, I believe. So I will wait and see. It's still working the order block here. Yeah, we cannot forget that we are in a pre-FOMC state as well. So it can be like this until Wednesday. And yeah, honestly, all-time highs price action for me personally, I mean it's the hardest one. For me, it's really the hardest one because price has a direction, but it has a it has a direction, but it has no momentum. The momentum is kind of weird. It just creeps higher, creeps higher. It doesn't give you that clear momentum, and it can act like a stairs up, elevator down, stairs up, elevator down, just like this. And for me, this is very hard to engage with, because there's only one opportunity to engage with, which is usually these lows. But even these lows, if you protect yourself around here and expect a run to the upside, your position can be taken out as soon as we go for a retrace, and it will keep grinding higher. And yeah, and that's why I have a hard time to engage with this type of price action. But yeah, people, how long have you been trading ICT? Do you trade only NQ and ES, or do you trade other assets? See, this is what I'm talking about. Stairs up, elevator down, stairs up, elevator down. So this is kind of frustrating. But yeah, honestly, I'm glad I did not take anything. Otherwise, I would be, if I took a short around these levels here, around this volume imbalance with my stop loss above this fair value gap, I would be praying. I would still be praying here. If I took a long around here, I would be break even as well. So let's just wait until 1050. But I presume 1050 will serve as fuel to the upside towards buy side liquidity and all time highs. Still price still playing here above the order block. And so far, this bearish fair value gap is being respected. So we are kind of stuck here. Yeah, you entered short. I was, yeah, my mind, as soon as I saw we respecting this fair value gap and the inversion of this one, my mind kind of switched for trading mode once again. But honestly, I'm not trusting this price action. So you've been trading for ICT for 1.5 years. And do you trade only NQ and ES, or do you switch assets just like, I don't know, some sort of commodities or gold or oil or some Forex as well? Let me just check if YM is getting weaker as well. Yeah, probably. But now I'm feeling some type of trust issues with price action. So the order block was kind of disrespected. We are entering 1050 macro as well. Bearishness was respected, so we kind of failed here to go to all-time highs. Moving towards 930 open. And we can also see, or we can also mark an SMT here in between ES and NQ. So yeah, we might, since we had a clear failure here, we might head to the downside, but the range is kind of, it's kind of nasty range here, because we might retrace once again here as soon as we tap 930 open. So you mostly trade in Q and you use ES to spot divergences and SMTs and bias, right? Yeah, I kind of do the opposite. I mainly do ES, trade ES, and use NQ as my for bias or just divergences. And the the reason is that it's easier to take partials with DS because you can use a little bit more contracts, while NQ is kind of limited in the use of contracts because it's volatility and the numbers it moves. So if you shorted here around here, you did a great job. I just started to feel some trust issues with this type of price action. So that's why I decided to stay away from it. Yeah, you trade Bitcoin as well, but not a bit ICT strategy. Okay. Yeah, I've been into crypto for a while as well, but I'm not trading crypto now right now. Yeah, it's always hard to short all-time highs. It's always hard because you are against the main wave, I guess. Yeah. Well, if we do not displace from here to the downside, I believe we will have a range bound macro as well, or we will still move to the upside because I need to see some willingness to the downside if we really want to go lower. Let me take another look at YM. I don't know if you do the same, but I use YM as well. I usually just take a look if YM. I usually classify them. YM is always the strongest or the weakest of those three. ES is always in the middle, and YM usually takes the opposite of what. I mean, ES is the middle, and usually YM and NQ they are the opposite. So um, if I start to see, in this case, if I would start to see the strongest asset to fail, then we will probably drive lower. But I need to see some willingness here, and there's still not any willingness. Now it seems like it wants to drive lower, especially in Q. So let me mark these bearish for value gaps here. Order block, bullish order block. So if we close below it, we might see a drop lower towards London lows and Asia lows as well. Yeah, in fact, I just take a look at it. I just like I do here. I just open the chart and I just feel its sentiment just like this. I don't do any sort of projections or wherever. Otherwise, it would be too much for me as well. I just measure the strength of it or the weakness of it. Yeah, NQ is really not in not into what I was expecting. Kind of a weird displacement higher now. But yeah, seems like it wants to go lower, but NQ it's just saying no 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 no. Don't do that. Just come with me. Yeah, stopped out at break even. See, that's what I was talking about from about these markets because you can eventually um, you can eventually open a position, start to be in profit, but they will stop you out. It's it's kind of strange. Yeah, I will not force anything in these types of conditions because I feel like ES is really being dragged by NQ. It seems like it has some intention to go lower, but NQ is preventing it and pushing higher once again. So NQ is following bullish order flow. It's respecting the 1028 fair value gap, the bullish one. But yes, it's kind of mumbling around here. But yeah, at least you did a good job and protected yourself at break even. That's great to see because you cannot trust these markets, honestly. Is the stream lagging, people? Is it lagging here on the purple platform? Because I feel like it's lagging a bit. Yeah, I don't know why. It's running great on the red one, but the purple one, it's not that great. And my connection on OBS is fine. But oh well. Are you from Singapore? Because I can see your location here on those I don't know how should I call it on the dashboard here. I have some sort of a geolocation from you from my viewers. Yeah, Singapore, it's from the other side of the world. I'm from Portugal, by the way. I guess I've been in Singapore once, but never visited it. Just for a just on at your airport, because I was flying to Thailand, and yeah, I did a stop at the Singapore airport. But for what I know, Singapore, it's a very nice country. And what's the time there? Yeah, it's nighttime. Yeah. Yeah, it's about 3 p.m. here. It's 3 p.m. So you have a night schedule for trading, right? It's not like me or like the European guys where it's 3 p.m. Yeah, 11 p.m. Yeah, 11 p.m. It's a big difference. It's a really big difference. So looking at NQ and ES is, I mean, you should be prepared to go towards new lows. I can feel it losing 930 open and 830 open, and eventually the first presented fair value gap as well. But on the other hand, NQ is just saying, no. You won't do that. We are kind of respecting this big fair value gap here. I should eventually take this until the volume imbalance as well. So these 304 candles, we kind of explored the top of the fair value gap. Then we kind of respected the midpoint of it, and now we are trying to trade below it. But at the same time, we have some support here as well, as the first presented fair value gap and 930 open and 930 open. But yeah, I can feel like price wants to do this. But at the same time, I would like to see some weakness from NQ. Because if we look into YM is probably trading lower right now. There we go. It is the lowest asset. It's the weakest asset. So this might be the easiest one to short. While ES might be not the hardest one to short, but NQ is definitely the hardest one to short. Yeah, I don't trade London sessions. London session in terms of in terms of time window, it's great because we have the same time as London. So it should be great, but I'm not that used to trade the London session because London usually manipulates, and I don't feel comfortable taking the manipulation. Um, and I'm not comfortable with London session at all. So I started to learn the New York AM session and kind of with it. So that's why I just trade the New York AM session. But it's a stretch for you because it's 11 p.m. and you kind of stretch that to New York lunch, right? So the PM session it's kind of impossible for you. And even for me, because I don't like to be at the charts around 8 p.m. because otherwise I would have to skip dinner or so to trade the New York PM session. So I usually tend to be online or eventually try to trade the New York AM session and the closing macro as well. So I kind of turn off around 11:30 New York local time. Because I've been noticing the last couple of weeks, I've been noticing that whenever we have a price action like this, usually something happens around 11:15 to 11:30. I'm not sure if this will be the case or not, but I kind of have been noticing that whenever we have a 9:50 macro or a 10:50 macro that doesn't deliver, we probably end up delivering something to 11:50 in between to 11:15 to 11:30. So this might be it. I don't know. It's kind of a pattern that I have been noticing the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you feel the same or not. But yeah, as I was saying, if ES would act on its own, we would probably go for a London lows, but it's being pushed and it's being dragged by NQ right now. So we might go for a lower liquidity, but not in New York AM session. It will probably happen in between New York PM or we can leave the new week opening gap totally untapped as well. Because in one of ICT's lectures, he said that in bullish markets, or in bearish markets, in heavy markets, or in markets that wants to price higher, if we are very bullish or if we are very bearish, we can leave big new week opening gaps untapped. This might be the case, I don't know, but this is just a possibility and a probability that is being in place right now. So, and it's kind of working. So price, since the open, it didn't tap the new week opening gap. So this was a possibility that was on top of the table as soon as we opened at 9:30, and I kind of talked about it. And yeah, price is just moving around, but not reaching for the new week opening gap. it kind of especially happens when we are trading all-time highs. It leaves gaps open just to go higher, just to punish those who are trying to make the simple choice of, oh, there's a gap, so it will fill the gap, so I will short. Nah, not really. Yeah, you have noticed it as well. Yeah, around 11:15. That's right. I don't know. I, I don't know if ICT mentioned it or not, but yeah, I've been noticing it a lot of times, honestly. Yeah, I will be here probably a little bit more until 11:30 New York local time, and then I will end the session because this is a range bound session, as you can see here. So totally range bound. Let's see if we will have that 11:15 movement that I was kind of anticipating. And it usually happens whenever the first two macros do not work. Well, the 9:15 macro kind of worked around here from the first presented fair value gap to London highs, and then from London highs to back to the first presented fair value gap. So it was kind of a bidirectional macro. But the 10:15, yeah, it's not working. I call this an empty macro. So it's a macro that does not deliver at all, has no delivery. You shorted again? NQ, right? Yeah, I can see it took the highs. It took the highs and it's kind of delivering a bearish breaker as well. Yeah, but this for me is kind of late for now. And honestly, trust issues has been activated, so right now I'm not trusting anything. These range bound markets, I don't trust them. But I would advise you just to protect yourself as soon as you can. Yeah, I'm sorry for those watching. Um, I don't know what's happening, but we are facing here a major lag situation. Can't really figure out what's happening. And now, yes, my OBS is saying that the connection is kind of bad. So right now we have some sort of a delay on the stream. Yeah, it seems like the 11:15 move is about to happen, or it's kind of happening here. It seems like price wants to make another run towards the highs that were left behind here, those suspicious highs that we talked about earlier in the stream. And eventually, buy side liquidity is all-time highs as well. So this was eventually the 11:15 to 11:30 move, but yeah, there's no reason to trust in this price action, especially outside the New York AM kill zone. So if you couldn't trust price action inside the kill zone, why should I trust it outside of it? So that's kind of the logic that I'm following. But yeah, guys, I believe it makes no sense to be streaming with this kind of delay right now and with these types of conditions. So we are hitting 11:30 as well. So I'm getting outside of my time window of action as well. So I'm my end in the stream here, and hopefully the connection gets better for tomorrow's live stream as well. So yeah, for those who were watching, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I hope to see you tomorrow at the same time, the same hour. And yeah, I'm sorry about these conditions, but there's nothing I can do about it. And hopefully tomorrow it will be a little bit better. But yeah, we can only hope because I believe this is due to my internet provider. I have no control about it. So yeah, guys, the 11:15 to 11:30 movement is kind of happening. It's a slow grind here, but it's kind of happening. So if you took advantage of that, congratulations. If not, there's nothing wrong with it because, yeah, it's a range bound market that was presented to us since the 9:30 open. So if you kind of not trust